Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today.
Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Carolyn Lowe, the CEO and co-founder of ROI Swift, an Amazon and digital marketing agency that excels in growing small and medium businesses. Carolyn is passionate about helping consumer brands grow through Facebook and Instagram ads, paid Google searches, and Amazon marketing. In addition to helping her clients see larger profits, Carolyn is a mom of 2 and a licensed pilot. Thanks for joining us, Carolyn.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's go back in time. How did you get started?
It actually started in 1999 at Dell. So this was when people were buying their first computers and no one had email and no one had Facebook and no one had Instagram, and Amazon was just around thinking about selling books. So started in direct marketing 20 years ago and evolved to today's media, which is Amazon and social and internet.
Absolutely. The longer version, if it isn't, should be in a book somewhere. How did ROI Swift get started?
So we started about 5 years ago. I made quite a bit of money for Michael Dell, and that felt good, but he didn't need extra dollars. So what I really found passionate about was these smaller businesses. So I started working with a mom and baby brand called Upspring, and they were a fledgling little company and helped them grow. And they just got acquired by Reckitt Benckiser, who owns Lysol and Mucinex. So they got acquired last year. And really found that was my passion. So we do that for companies in the 3 to 30 million space, and it feels real good to help those companies grow and realize their dreams.
Right, because getting Michael Dell an extra 100 million doesn't really change anybody's life very much. But taking a business from 3 million to the point where it gets acquired by a major public company, obviously that's life changing.
Yes. And that's what we love. And there's so many snake oil salesmen out there who claim to know Amazon or claim to know digital, take all your money and waste it. And that really makes me sad. So our goal is to help 1,000 emerging brands, and we're at 102. So I've got a little ways to go till retirement.
Sure, but you're also making great progress. So what are some of the biggest mistakes you see business owners making and brands making when it comes to advertising online?
So I think their biggest mistake, honestly, is that they go with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And what we see a lot is people who are smaller, they're not the Nikes of the world. They can't afford the top talent. So they go with someone who's smaller, who ends up wasting all their money. There was a boot company we worked with, and they were losing money, and now they're well over a $70 million company. We turned them around. And a lot of these folks wouldn't exist if they continued to bleed their money. And so if they're getting seed capital or getting Series A, we want to help them spend it wisely.
All right. So they shouldn't hire the guy they meet at their local BNI group who's just starting out and working out of his mom's basement.
That's correct.
All right. So how does a brand or a mom and pop, a small business like that, how do they determine who really knows what they're doing and who's, full of it?
That's another great question. What you can ask them to do, we do free audits for anybody we work with. So before we take you on, we want to know, it's like dating, we want to know if we can help you. And if we can't help you, we don't want to take you on. We told a shirt brand that we did an audit. We said, you guys are doing everything right. You don't need to give us any money. Stay with
So
your
that was a
agency.
refreshing change of pace.
Yes. And they refer business back to us. So we like to be honest, and we'll fire ourselves if we're not doing a good job.
Awesome. So you get called in to fix other people's mistakes just like we do.
Yes.
A lot of businesses don't know anything about Amazon advertising. They talk about, they think I just put my product up there and people find it and they should buy it. So talk a little bit about how Amazon advertising works.
Sure. So I don't know, when was the last time you went past page 1 on an Amazon results search?
I don't know if I've ever gone past page 1.
It's a staggering statistic. 70% don't make it past page 1. So it's a lot like Google in that sense. You've got to pay to play, you've got to pay to get on page 1. And it's this vicious cycle of you have to sell a lot to get on page 1, but to get on page 1, you have to sell a lot. So in comes advertising. So Amazon has different ways, just like Google, where you can show up and on that first page of results. And it's a PPC model and it's a pay to play. And they have a bunch of other advertising platforms, but the most effective are the on Amazon ones versus where Amazon's running ads for you out on, the display network.
Okay. So Amazon, which people may not realize, is not just a product fulfillment company in the world's largest store, one of the world's largest stores. It is also an advertising agency that makes money when we as business owners pay it to run ads to get more sales for our products. What are some of the questions we should be asking a marketing firm before you mentioned the dating process. When my wife and I went on our first date, I think we interrogated each other for like 12 hours. So what are some of the questions we should be asking that marketing firm on our first date?
Yeah, I think you should be asking for results, obviously, references. You should also be asking for what would you do differently? What are some of the things you see wrong with our account? And we have both what we call organic and paid audit. So we'll look at, is the product listing lousy? Why is it not converting? Just like any e-commerce site, is it your sessions that are too low, or is it your conversion rate that's too low? And if your folks can't talk to you about how to get your sessions up or how to get your conversion rate up, you shouldn't hire them.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. What are some of the things what are red flags that would tell us to run in the opposite direction?
As agencies or as brands?
So if I'm a brand interviewing an agency, what are some things that if they say, I know, oh my God, I should run the other way?
Oh, definitely. I think that if they say that, you can't get down to a reasonable advertising cost of spend, or if they can't tell you what their category is doing. So we have a whole bunch of tools that we have access to, and I can tell you what any product is selling on Amazon, how much revenue they're doing on a monthly basis. What's your market share? Some of the questions you should ask is, how am I doing versus the competitors? What's my market share? And if they can't answer that, then they don't know what they're doing.
Okay, those are great tips. Let's change topics for just a second. Talk to us about about your passion for flying.
Yes. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and my sister and her husband had a private plane, and we could fly to Nantucket for dinner or fly to Cape Cod or Maine. And it was just really refreshing. And I've always loved flying. So a bunch of folks I used to work with at Dell, there was an airport, within 20 minutes, a small private airport, and just started taking lessons. And now living in Austin, Texas, it's a big state. So it's easier to get around via plane, although I'm not current since I'm a little busy with a 9 and a 12-year-old and a company.
I bet. Let's talk a little bit about that work-life balance, because I've got 3 kids in an agency. You've got 2. Talk a little bit about the team behind ROI Swift, because I know it's not just you working 80 hours a day.
It is not. No, we've got a all Austin-based team of A players, and we've got 4 on the Amazon side and a few on the paid search and paid social side. And we are pretty flexible. We do work from home Fridays. Well, now every day is work from home. Excuse the guitar and the stuff in the background.
That's all right. I've got one too.
And really we let folks. There's a core set of hours, and a lot of folks have young kids, and they can work around those core hours. So the best part about hiring people smarter than you and hiring people that are committed is that you don't have to worry about are things going to get done.
Absolutely. What do you like best about what you do?
I love seeing a business's sales grow. I love when we take that first client over 1 million and then over 5 million on their website and then over 10 million on their website. We had a client who's in the sports category, and we spent like 40,000 for them one month, and they got 1 million in revenue on Facebook and
A
Instagram.
heck of an ROI.
Yeah, so that just feels real good because we don't think that Coke and Pepsi should be the only two choices out there.
I would agree with that. Well, who is an ideal client for you? What's your sweet spot?
Good question. We love working with direct to consumer brands, 3 to 30 million. They've usually had a seed or a Series A stage of fundraising, and those tend to be the best folks. I'll tell you, one of the problems we see a lot, Seth, is that we find people want to spend only $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month on Facebook, and you just don't get enough data to make statistically significant decisions. So they just sort of bleed little amounts of money, and next thing they know, they've spent $30,000 or $50,000 over the course of the year, and they say Facebook doesn't work. So we like to prove them wrong.
Absolutely. That's the fun part, is showing them that it can work and that it does work. With all the success you've achieved, what's your biggest opportunity now? What's coming up for ROI Swift? What's next?
So I think our biggest opportunity is just letting more folks know about us. It really pains us when we go into an account and we see just money being wasted or things being done poorly. So what's next for us is, 898 more brands to help. And we're just going to keep growing, and we're hiring, and we'll probably be double by the end of the year. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. Congratulations. You are in what I would call the internet marketing capital of the world in Austin.
Yes.
Some good friends of ours, several good friends of ours down the road at Digital Marketer. You've got some other good friends down at Wizard Academy. You're in the right place. Because you're a marketing expert, I've got to ask, you mentioned getting those 800 plus other brands to fulfill your manifest destiny. How are you reaching out to them?
That's a great question. We've gotten so many inbound referrals that we've never really focused too much on outbound. But we are hiring for a sales development rep. Everybody we talk to, about 90% of them close with us. It's just a matter of we're not having enough conversations because we're so busy doing the work. So really for us, a couple of key hires in getting the word out. And of course we run our own, small Google ads, but for us, it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg. We need to hire more folks on our Amazon and Facebook teams, and before the sales folks can go off and sell stuff. So
right, you've got to have people for them. Exactly. All right. So you give advice all day, every day. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
That's a great question. I learned this the hard way. I've had so many failures, which is terrific because they're all learning opportunities. But I think the best advice I was ever given was probably don't be afraid to fail. And also, hire slow, fire fast. I've haven't always done that, and it's really bad for the team. It's really bad for the company.
Yes, we could swap stories on that. I'm sure another time. All right. So we talked. You talked about working with the wrong people. You talked about thinking things don't work. What are some of the other most common mistakes businesses are making? That you say, let's discount let's put aside that you are, they're working with the wrong agency. They have somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. What are some of the principles that they're doing? It's things you see and you just cringe and you go, oh my God, I can't believe they don't know that.
Right. Some of the basics around e-commerce, especially on the websites, we'll typically audit somebody's website and see if they are converting at least 2 to 3%. So a lot of times people will be throwing money at digital ads and their website has serious problems. It has a 6-second load time. Google has shared with us that you lose 40% of your visitors for every page that loads over 44 seconds. So
wow.
if you can't get your page to load in less than 4 seconds, that's the first thing you should go fix. So a lot of times we'll see that people have bad websites and they throw good money after bad websites. So we'll really be a strategic partner. We did this with another brand, and their conversion rate increased 50% just by changing their product pages. So don't spend any money on ads until your website is converting.
That is awesome advice. We greatly appreciate your time. We know you're incredibly busy with obviously running a company and being a mom. Anything else you want to share that I didn't think to ask you?
I think two pieces of advice for anybody thinking about starting a D2C business, or someone who's traditionally retail. A lot of our folks are going retail to D2C. Get on Shopify, get on Klaviyo for email marketing. It'll make your life so much easier than those bigger platforms out there like Magento. Stay away from that. We've seen $100 million businesses on Shopify Basic. So
that is awesome. All right, we greatly appreciate it. This has been Seth Greene for SharkPreneur with Carolyn Lowe of ROISwift.com. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.